Hi guys, welcome to the Aussie Sim live stream. Thanks for tuning in. And tonight I'm going to do something a little different from the heavies and the tube liners that I normally fly. Tonight we're going to take the Bonanza from Bankstown from Bathurst Airport over the Blue Mountains and flying pretty much straight into Bankstown, depending on the winds. And at the end of the video, I'm going to show off something that I've been working on all day. So make sure that you stick around and check that out. So we'll just jump straight into the cockpit here, and we'll get this little bird fired up, and then we'll taxi on out to the runway and start our flight. How is everyone tonight anyway? Just for your information, anyone that has ChasePlane, there was a new update today, and now you can go into static. So if anyone knows ChasePlane and has used ChasePlane or is using ChasePlane, you can now select a static mode. And we'll just do a quick walk around the aircraft. So this is, I'm just replicating a flight that I did a few years back with a mate of mine. He was training to be a pilot. I think he's a pilot now. I haven't seen him in quite a few years. And myself and, him and I both took a flight. And we left Bankstown, we flew out to Bathurst. And back again, so it was quite a long flight there and back, a couple of hours, and it was amazing. But we flew that, I think it was in the Piper Warrior 2, and although I didn't have my pilot's license, and I had flown out of Bankstown Airport quite a bit as I was studying for a couple of years there, but I didn't get my private pilot license, unfortunately. But he let me take control of the aircraft for a little bit, so it was fun. Alright, so we'll close our doors. Our doors up. Shane, what were you watching? Was it a tutorial on Adobe Pro rendering, or? Alright, so just to let you know as well, I've got the SciTech panels that I purchased recently, and I'll be using those to start up the aircraft. So if anyone does have any SciTech panels that they're having trouble with version 4 prepared, the program spad.next is the program that you want to be using to program all your controllers or your radios and switches. So that's I think it's got a 14-day trial, and then you have to purchase it to continue using it. Alright, so I'll just switch on the battery, and we'll get this aircraft fired up. So you'll hear some clicking in the background. That's the panel there. So it's nice and early in the morning. I'm just going to just quickly pop into Active Sky, and I'll just bring that across for you. So we've got the flight plan in here. So Bathurst to Bankstown, we're going to cruise at about 5,000 feet. Just going to check the briefing. So we're departing on runway 26 as indicated here, and we'll be landing on runway, we can either choose 29 centre, 29 right or 29 left at this stage. And I think from memory that might require us to fly downwind and either make a right or left hand turn into final. Alright, so we'll get back into the aircraft and we'll get it started up. So we'll switch our beacon light on, and as usual we yell out clear prop, and we'll start her up. Nice one, Shane. I look forward to watching another FS Elite video. So we'll just turn our navigation on and set our altitude to 5,000 feet. So I won't be flying this completely manually. I'll use the autopilot to track our flight. So this aircraft is pretty cool. It's by Coronado, and it's a nice looking aircraft, and it's pretty fast, so it's shouldn't take too long to do the flight, probably about an hour all up. I'm just going to switch this over into GPS mode. And it says that we've got to directly track for 37 miles that'll be to Katoomba. We've got that set in there. We'll tune that into the radio here. So that's 107 that we're looking for. Alright, so I do have the some of the AI turned on, as you can see here. So we'll just make some radio calls as we head on out. There's no tower at this airport, so it's a traffic call that we'll be making. And we'll be heading out to runway 26. Alright, we'll switch our taxi light on. Increase the throttle and slowly head out to the runway. So I've been patiently waiting for PMDG to release their 737. There was an update not long ago to their pilot, or their, I think it's the Pilot Center or PMDG Operations Center. And so I believe that, I believe that might be 2.6 down the other end there. I'm not too sure, so we'll have to see where this one takes us.
Yankee Bravo Tango Hotel, traffic, Victor Hotel Tango Delta Kilo, taking off, runway 26, straight out departure.
Yes, so I've been patiently waiting for the 737 to be released from PMDG, and like I said, there was an update to the Operations Center a few days ago, and unfortunately it didn't include the update to the modules for the 737, so I was a little bit disappointed because they said it was going to be available in the second week of June, but that's not the case. Looks like they've been delayed a little bit. So it looks like it's taking us out onto the grass here for runway 26, but that's fine, we'll take that. Get a little bit of a bumpy takeoff, I take it. Alright, how's the stream, guys? I hope it's running smoothly. I know there's a little bit of a delay. I apologise for that. I haven't worked out how to fix that delay. I've messed around with the settings, but it doesn't seem to change much. Alright, so we'll just swing around here and we'll get this girl up in the air. So when we get to roughly around 70 knots, we'll start our rotate. just continue to climb till we get to roughly 3,500 feet, and then I'll make a left-hand turn. We'll just intercept that the navigation. So I was mucking around with ChasePlane the other day, and because I was previously a user of EasyDock, and I know that in EasyDock version 2 there was a lot of talk about the newly implemented head tilting, and it was to do with the horizon. And it was basically the technology that they introduced that, you know, when you make a turn, your head would not completely turn with the plane. And I found a little setting in the ChasePlane setting page, and I think it was something like F factor or something like that. Can't remember exactly what it was, but it was basically the same thing. So if you watch, I'll just show you now quickly. If I turn the plane left and right real quick, you'll notice that the plane turns but the head doesn't. So or it'll do that little flick. Which I thought was pretty cool. The settings may have changed since I've done the update, so because it was a little bit more. You could notice it a lot more. So I'm just going to set the autopilot for now on altitude. We're going to set that for back up to 5,000. And actually we might climb to about 7,000, because I see these mountains that are in front of us, and from the looks of it we've got to get over the top of them. So we'll climb up to about 7,000. And that should give us plenty of clearance. So while that's happening, I'll just pull up the ChasePlane camera, and we'll have a little bit of a look. So here's my pilot view, and we're going to go into the motion effects. Yeah, see the F horizon, that's changed. So these settings have changed since I last fiddled around with them. And I'll put this one right up. So if you want to put that into your settings, or into your implement that into your flight sim, if you've got ChasePlane, obviously, yeah, just pop in there and get onto the camera that you want and select the F horizon and just push that right up, and I'll give you another quick demo. So we'll turn, now you can notice it. Right, so the head stays, the plane will turn but the head doesn't. I probably got it turned up a little bit too much, but that way you can see exactly what it's doing. So I'll just pop back in there and bring that down to about halfway. And you can play around with some of the other settings. So the engines, we can make the plane shake around a little bit more. So I like to have it set there because, you know, naturally in an aircraft like this, the aircraft's going to shake around quite a lot. So getting back into talking about Prepared 3D version 4, I think there hasn't been a day that I haven't been on this since it come out. I just love it compared to the previous versions. I think it just overall still the whole simulator is just the improvements. Like I've got everything turned up. I actually turned some more things up since the last stream. So I turned up my Active Sky or the ASCA clouds. So they were on 256, and I think it was DX5 or DXT5, and I turned those right up on to 2048-bit, and it didn't have much of an impact. So, and I've got my settings pretty high still on for scenery and things like that. There was a tweak that I did add to my simulator, and what I'll do, I'll see if I can find that, and I'll bring it up and just show you. So it's to the CFG file. Let me just see if I can find it. I've got to try and track down where the files all go. There we go, found it first go. Alright, so just get rid of that. Now this is a good one. I did a little test on this, and I can't remember where I got this little tweak from, but apparently it does work, and it's in the terrain settings. So it's down, where is it? Down the bottom somewhere. Terrain. So as you can see, my LOD radius is set at 9.5, and the tweak that I added was the texture size EXP equals 9. Now there was a little bit of talk about 9 or 10 in the forum where I found this. So I tried it out. I tried it on 9, and then I tried it on 10. So when I put it on to 10, I got stuttering, and caused me some problems, and I went back in and I changed this back to 9, and all was fixed. So if you're getting any stutterings, or if you do have this texture size EXP equals 10 and you're getting stuttering, switch it back to 9 or switch it over to 9, and that might help you out. And like I said, I've got my LOD radius set to 9.5, so if you've got that set lower and you've got a good system, I'd consider putting the LOD radius up to 9.5, because I've got a high-end but not a super high-end computer, and I'm still running everything pretty fine. Alright, so we're hitting some clouds at the moment. Hopefully they don't stick around. Generally under visual flight rules we wouldn't be flying through cloud. And I'm not sure whether ORBX changed their scenery or something when they did a update for this version of Prepared. But I'm getting a little bit of stutters now, so that might be I'd say that's the clouds. So that's because I've got the clouds set on 2048-bit. Shane, to tell you the truth, I don't really know what the tweak actually did. I haven't taken it out to see if it impacted anything in terms of the way things look in textures and things like that, but I put it in there and everything seems to run pretty good. So try it out, mate, and see if it works. If it you know, it might make it run better, or make it look a little bit better, and go from there. All right, so we might drop down about 1,000 feet because it looks like we're in these clouds. But what I can say, I don't know if anyone else is experiencing this with their simulator, but I prepared 3 point whatever it was, I think all versions. I always had issues with the loading of the ground scenery. And I just don't get that anymore. I'm not having that. This is the Australia scenery from ORBX, so you know I'm flying this whole trip, and I'm getting high quality ground textures the whole way. So, and as you can see, the clouds are on. So the clouds are doing their shadowing there. So we're just going to be coming up on Katoomba. As you can see, there's the blue mountains in front of us. So if you're not from Australia, or you're not from New South Wales, you may have heard of the Blue Mountains. It's a very pretty place. It's called the Blue Mountains because when you get to the lookout and you look across the canyons there, even though the trees are green, but because they're gum trees, they give a blue look. So it's pretty amazing. I've been there a couple of times, and the last time I went there, it snowed, but it didn't snow exactly on the day that we went there, but it had been snowing, and which is pretty rare. So it was pretty cool. Took the kids there and they got to see a bit of snow for the first time. And I remember when I went flying with my mate, and we flew over the Katoomba city, and it's something I'd never really experienced before when flying. And it's basically we were pretty close to the ground, as we're probably going to be here, and I'm not scared of heights, but when we're flying, you know, I could see down, I could look down like this and see the cars and all the houses and that, and the people. But then all of a sudden it do this, it just drop off, and an extra 1,000 feet, an extra 500 feet, and it sort of made your stomach churn a little bit, because you just, I don't know, it must have been because of the fact that in my head I was believing that we're at this height, and then all of a sudden you just fly over this big ditch and you know, this big gorge, and all of a sudden you're twice the height that you were. And yeah, I seem to think that's more so in a smaller aircraft like this than it would be flying in an airline. So we'll just pull the screen up here, the GPS, make this a little bit bigger for you. So we've just passed over Katoomba, and now we're flying the final leg down to Bankstown. So it's about 37 miles again. So just in regards to what I was talking about earlier, at the end of the video I'm just going to show you a little bit of a project that I've been working on today. I was approached by a virtual airline to help them out, and I gladly said yes I would. So I spent most of the day working on that, and if you've been on my Facebook page you would have seen a few updates. But I pretty much finished the project, or one part of the project, so I'll show that off tonight. This one thing that I don't do much of in this simulator is the GA flying. I actually enjoy it. It's a bit more hands-on, but it's just a matter of finding the right aircraft to use to fly with. And it was good because FlightSimmer, the day I was looking for an aircraft, FlightSimmer put up a video of his top 5 GA aircraft, and some of the aircraft that I had been looking at and some of the aircraft that I have were listed on that list, so it was pretty cool. And the ones that I didn't know about, he showed and pointed me in the right direction of some pretty cool aircraft, either by Coronado or it looks like Just Flight have got some nice ones as well as A2A. And I jumped on A2A's website to have a look at some of their licensing for their aircraft, and it ranges. I think they sell a few different licensing, and one will be an academic version and a professional, and then full trainer. So the prices vary, the same as prepared. You can buy the 3 different types of licenses. Well, as you can see, most of this flight is over some mountains and some beautiful countryside. And once we get to the edge of these mountains, we'll be back into the Sydney Basin, and pretty much in the area, from memory, when I did my student licensing, we would take off and head over Prospect and out over the western suburbs, and that was the training area where we practice all our stalls and our engine failures and different things, you know, a couple of G turns, and I was lucky enough to do that for 2 different flight schools, and the first aircraft I did that in was the Piper Tomahawk, and then the Cessna 152, I think it was. So I'm just going to descend now down to 4,000 feet. What's that, Shane, expensive? Is it the add-ons or learning to fly? I think both of them are pretty expensive, to be honest. Oh yeah, the Pro version for A2A. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, it's quite expensive. Yeah, 110 was it for Aussie dollars. Yeah, and that's for a GA aircraft. So, but I think A2A built their aircraft and their AccuSim as well, based on the fact that you can pretty much learn to fly on those things, and what's all involved in doing pre-flight checks, and so it's not too. If you can afford it, it's fantastic. G'day, Richard. I'm going good, mate. We're just about to come into Sydney and be landing at Bankstown Airport. My week's been pretty good. Been pretty busy working, looking after kids and my wife, and clocking up some hours on the flight sim. What about yourself? So we're just going to increase our descent rate here. Oops. Didn't like that. We'll see if we can tune Bankstown Airport. Oops. Tune Bankstown Airport, and we'll tell them we're going to do a full stop landing. Okay, so
Flight left, traffic runway 29er left, Tango Delta Kilo.
so it's telling us 29 left, and I haven't done VFR flying for a long time, and what I did do when I was training a long time ago was a lot of circuit training. So correct me if I'm wrong, if you know, and Shane, you'd know this more than me probably. Left downwind would be to the right hand side of the left runway. So we'll have our runway to the left of us as we're heading down. Does that sound about right? Strange that the clouds do that, they move. So we might drop down further because these clouds are really blocking my visuals at the moment for the airport. So we'll drop down to 2,000 feet. Thanks, Shane. I thought that was right. Downwind, left downwind. So we'll be landing on the furthest runway from where we're actually going to park. And I won't bore you with the taxi all the way back to the parking area. Now, I'm not sure if you can see that, but through those clouds there's an antenna. From memory, when we did flying, we had the antenna to the right, and we can see the runway directly in front of us. So the runway facing this way would be 11 11 left, 11 centre and 11 right. And we're going to be flying down this end of the airfield and coming back around and landing. And Prospect Reservoir, so that's I think that's Hoxton Park Airport just to the right over the wing there. And Prospect Reservoir, I think that's it there, maybe. Hi everyone, sorry about the sorry about that. I had a bit of an emergency. I had to run off. So we're just about to land. We're just going to drop down to 1,000 feet. And as you can see, there's a couple of runways here. The centre runway being the main runway that's lit up. We've got 3 here, 1, 2 and 3. We're going to be landing on the small one to the left. So I'm just going to disconnect the autopilot and just get some speed off and so Sydney's looking pretty stunning in the sim at the moment. If you can hear that noise in the background, that's my bird. It's sitting right next to me deciding to have a chat, probably because I'm talking. So there's the aerodrome, and looks like there's is it the city out there to the left? I'm just going to make a left-hand turn shortly and bring this aircraft in, and then I'll show off my latest project. Alright, so we've been cleared to land. Just going to raise the nose a little bit. I don't want to gain too much height, but I want to get some speed off so I can introduce the first stage of flaps, which we'll do now. We'll make our start on our left-hand turn. And we'll put our gear down. That way I can knock off a lot of speed without the warning going off. Put in our final stage of flaps. We roughly want to sit around about 80 knots. We'll just make our last turn onto final. And this is part of my training when I was flying out here, is that you've got to be very careful when you're making these turns into these runways, because you may have an aircraft that's flying down next to you. Because I'll use one runway like this one for circuits, and you've got to make sure that when you turn, you make sure that you're turning, not overturning or letting the turn line you up with the center runway or the right runway, as you could end up having a serious accident. So I'm just a little bit too fast at the moment, so I'll bring the throttle back. Whoop. Let's get down here. There we go. Probably should have come in a little bit slower. And welcome to Bankstown Airport.
Tango Delta Kilo, exit runway when able.
So I'm just going to take an exit to the left here, and then I'm going to load up the sim. I'm not going to restart the sim, but I'll load up a new scenario with an aircraft that I've been working on, and I'll show that off for the final part of the video.
Tango Delta Kilo, turn next taxiway.
So we'll just pop on over to Sydney Airport. And we'll go to a heavy. Yes, we will be loading up the PMDG 747-400. Thanks for sticking around and watching the stream. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe and keep up to date with the streams and the videos. Just waiting on the NGX at the moment, and that'll be reason I do some more videos, because I'm basically just flying around Australia at the moment, but can't do that in the jumbo all the time. So just going to select the aircraft now. Alright, so I'm in the process of painting up this aircraft, well, the exterior anyway, but I have had to do some internal painting, one of them being this little sign here, the registration of the aircraft, and I was in the process of trying to fix up this. Now, as you can see, it says Qantas here. That's I'm trying to change at the moment. It's a little bit difficult because I don't have the required files to change this easily. So that's staying like that for now. But we'll pop on outside and I'll give you a view of what I've been doing. Alright, so one of my other little hobbies about flight sim is doing aircraft repaints, and Virtual Airline has requested that I paint up a few of their aircrafts, and one of them being the 747-400 in the Virgin Australia livery. So here it is here. Took me all day to do, and I think it turned out pretty good. So we started off with the tail, and I had to do the tail in one piece, so just this one piece here. I had the lettering coming down onto the fuselage here, but I had some problems with it lining up. I still haven't worked out how to do that, so if anyone knows, let me know, that'll be great. But for now it's just on the tail, and I think the 747 just has it on the tail anyway. So I've added a few more decals on the back here with the Australian flag, and the registration of the aircraft. And did some more with the engines. So we put this nice little red and grey band around the engines here. And the Virgin Australia text. Now that was, it's not exactly spot on, but it's probably as close as you can get to in finding the correct font that they use for their writing. So I put the lovely lady on the front of the aircraft here, as you can see, and adds some rego to the gear door. Let me come around the other side here. Oops. So overall, I think she looks pretty good. I think they'll be pretty pleased with it. And I haven't released it yet, so if anyone's interested in getting their hands on it, just let me know. And once I've finished it off, I'll be putting it online somewhere, probably on Avsim. You'll be able to download it off there. Alright guys, that's the end of the stream. I will have to unfortunately leave, and I hope you enjoyed the stream. It wasn't as similar to my previous stream, so it was a nice little GA flight from Bathurst across to Bankstown Airport. But yeah, make sure you hit the like button, and tune into my, or jump onto my Facebook page. Like I said in the last video, I do a lot of updates on there in regards to especially things like this, like the repaints and things like that I do. And I've got a few more coming out, so I'll have the, I think there's another repaint that I'm doing for the NGX. So you'll be able to keep updated on there. The links are all in the comment or in the description section to the Facebook page. So thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you next time. Till then, stay safe and enjoy flying around. See you guys.